Hello and welcome. Cross Tour Up's coverage of round broadcasted to you by Slow Motion Broadcasting. Adam Thompson, and you guys have me tonight. So you guys are going to have to bear with me just a little bit. Hopefully, make this work okay. I think I'm getting better. We'll see at the end of the broadcast. A little bit of information about Suzuka before we get into qualifying and see where everybody's at. So the Suzuka International Racing Course, or better known as the Suzuka Circuit, is 3.6 miles long. Has a capacity of about 155,000 people. Soichiro Honda decided to develop a new permanent circuit in the Mie Prefecture in the late 1950s. Designed as a Honda test track in 1960 by Dutchman John Bugenholz, the most iconic feature of the track is the 8. I'll kind of bring the track map up and show you exactly where. 1.2 kilometer long back straight, passing over the front section of the track by means of an overpass. It is only one of 2 FIA Grade 1s licensed tracks to have a figure 8 layout, the other one being the Furano. So, tonight, we are already in qualifying here. Try to bring up, see if there's anybody out on track. It doesn't look like there is right now. Have Keer pulled up here. Let me pull up the points as well for you guys real quick. Kind of show you where we're standing before we actually get into the race tonight. So, as we go into this, you'll see in the GT3 portion, Bobby Ross has a heck of a lead up here with 62 points, with Paul Mikolajczyk down there with 44, Jake Hammond third with 38. This is when he gets close. Kerry Cantera with 37, Josh Fogg with 35, Tyler Coates with 31, Eric Whitner with 29, Darling with 27, Lozano with 18, and Jimmy Howitt way back down there with 5. We'll see if he can complete more than one lap tonight. Who knows? Maybe he's turned over a new stone from last weekend. But that being said, the TCRs, Brendan Horton's in the lead. Gary DiPiero will not be with us tonight, so that gives Robert Schwenkler a chance in third place at 19 points. Gain a couple points up there on Jerry, and maybe Brendan has a bad race, or I know Rob's been practicing quite a bit this week. Maybe he'll be able to gain a few. Chad Seep in 4th, James Keer 5th, Kevin Irwin 6th, Andrew Crine 7th, and Eduardo Pecorini in 8th place. Now, with that being said, Eduardo Pecorini did not have 0 points. I believe I may have gotten the wrong. I'll get. But Eduardo did win the race last weekend, so I know he got more points than that, but that doesn't mean anything. That'll hear it. So right now we are writing on Era. Not going to show a name or anything like that until he crosses the line, which we'll be able to go on board here for you too. I'll take you guys around one lap of this circuit. So, track map should be coming up as he crosses the line here. Maybe. There's the track map. Is it going to show Kerry? Not yet. He's on his first flying lap, though. So, he's going to come here into the first turn. This is super tough, especially with cold tires. The car wants to get pretty loose on you. Going now through turn 2. And now you go through a section called the S's. Left. Then back right. You can look at his gears. Look at how much they're shifting through. And then back left again. And then back right one more time. And this is a little bit of a longer sweeper. Then you're going to go back left again. Start going up the hill. This is called Dunlop Curve, turn 7. Then you're going to come down this sweeping left-hander. It's going to straighten out for just a second. Then you're going to get back right again. The Degner Curve, turn 8, and then into turn 9. That one comes at you pretty quick. You got to be careful. If you get some tires on that rumble strip on the left side, you could lose the rear end there in the GT cars. TCRs are front-wheel drive. They don't have to worry about that. Then you come into the hairpin for turn 11. This is when it gets interesting here. So I mentioned how the track crosses over itself. So now you're going to come through. This is technically turn 12 right now. And you're going to come up into turn 13, known as Spoon Corner or Spoon Curve. That encompasses turn 13 and 14. So here's 13. Got to be super careful. 14 gets a little tighter than you think it does. And look at Kerry holding it down there on the inside exactly how he has to do. Super smooth on the steering input. Now you come down this long backstretch. No name on this one, but 130R is about to blow your socks off. Watch how quick this corner. He's doing 150 right now. I'll be surprised if even downshifts. He does not. 150 miles an hour through 130R into turn 16, then back through 17, the left to right, or the right left chicane, and then back right again. Finish a lap. We're going to see where he is up here at the moment on the leaderboard for lap 1. He takes second place. He's only about 2 of a second off of Clog. Go ahead and see where Clog is, but that is 1 lap round Suzuka circuit. In turn 1, I would expect to have a few issues. Oh, I did forget to mention, so I'll go ahead and mention it right now. We'll stay on board here with a little longer. Not right now, obviously. For all the S curves and way too many game. Going to come up here again through Dunlop curve. Turn 7, left-hander right here. Going to be coming down this, technically a straightaway, but I don't know if you want to call it that, through Degner curve, through turn 9, and then if you look up, you're going to see a bridge. That is where they cross over each other as these guys enter 130R for turn 15. So, that is the track layout tonight. Take a look here at Jake Ham. We do have a shout out for him. Bill Baker said, good luck tonight, Jake Ham. So, don't let him down, Jake. Right now, we are on board with Jake, who has taken the lead in the GT3 section, but only by about 1/10 of a second here. So, still pretty close between all these guys. Eduardo Pecorini right now holds the lead on Robert Schwenkler, who has just set a lap. I want to give a big shout out to Rob as well. The organizer of this league does most of the legwork for this. You can see those Dangerous logos all over his car. Dad owns a design company. You saw the commercial there at the beginning of the broadcast. If you have or want anything done for designing, if you're designing a video game, anything like that, Rob's dad is super good at that. But right now, we are still on board here with Rob. We've got Eduardo Pecorini 0.8 of a second ahead of him with a 2:14.5. I'm pretty excited, actually, to see that anybody is that close to Pecorini. Because last race, that was not as close of a battle at all. We do have a couple more shout-outs here. Brendan Horan says, Brendan never has bad races. Well, I hope you don't have one tonight, my man. Gary being out is Rob's chance to shine here. And speaking of Jerry did shout us out here in the YouTube chat. Said, good luck to my favorite people. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you get to watch the whole race. And then we have Big H 305. Good luck, Bobby, Pecco, and Jerry. Unfortunately, Big H, Jerry is not with us this evening. He'll be back next week, though. So we do have Big H rooting on Bobby and Eduardo. So right now, if we can go to Bobby Ross here, he is in 4th place, about 1/10 of a second off third with the 5.9. Jake Ham is still in front of the field in that GT3 class with a .067. So Bobby's going to have to get a move on it here if he wants to get a little more positions. Pecorini, Schwenkler, and Seep right now are the only ones that have set times for the TCRs. We are about 9 minutes moving on. Probably 10 minutes is when Bobby crosses the line here into qualifying. I do believe these guys get 3 laps, so you're going to see people that have done their 3 laps already out. Let's go ahead and get on board here with somebody we really haven't gotten on board here that much with, and that's James Keer. Been putting a little bit of practice into this track, bit of back information on James. I actually work with him, so we were talking today. He's not a huge fan of this track, not a huge fan of trying to get this car around. He's still trying to get used to the front-wheel drive of these cars. He's a Civic, and we'll kind of see what he can do here as he comes around the final few corners. All that one single chicane, but it's like 1.5. But coming across the line, this is what I want to talk about in turn 1. Let's see if we can see the rear end kind of kick out. We'll ride on board if I can get there quick enough as he goes into turn 1. And you kind of see, you may see the wheel get a little bit left. No, he actually takes that very, oh, there it goes. It gets a little bit of oversteer on the curb in between 1 and 2. Holds on to that very nicely, though. James Keer right now with a 2:16.5. Unbelievable time for James, actually. To be honest, he's only about 1/10 of a second off of Chad Seep, who is not out on the track right now. So we'll go ahead and stay here with James. Jake Ham, you can see down there on the bottom left, still first place in the GT3s. Brendan Horn runs a 2:16.213. That gets him right up behind Rob, about 2 seconds off. Well, Rob Schwenkler is on a lap right now, but not setting any personal best, not setting any purples either. Not going to see our guys because are just that much faster. But looking at James Keer here, he set personal best through Sector 1 and 2, about to come across Sector 3 here. We'll see what he does. Another personal best. He can get through this hairpin. He might have a pretty good lap. Gets it in there a little bit hot. Gets it back under control, back up into second gear, then third, then fourth, and then long run here. Let me pull the dashboard up for you so you can see the difference in speed that these guys are running. Remember, we watched Kerry Quintera take this at about 150 miles an hour whenever he gets to it. He's got a couple more corners to get through before he gets there. So, spoon curve, turn 13 and 14. Does not get on the curb as much as you would want to on the left side. He's got to get back left, hug that as much as he can. Takes it nice and easy through there. 80 miles an hour. So, down the back stretch, this is where I kind of want to see the difference in speed. This is, we're going to see probably these GT3s catch up to these TCRs pretty quick. So you're doing 125, 26, maybe 130, 135 if he can by the time he hits. But you're going to see him actually let off just a little bit there. Keeps it in sixth gear. Loses about 10 miles an hour there. What you didn't see from Kerry Quintera, who was able to take that almost flat out through the chicane, right, left. He has been slower on his last two sectors. That is not going to bode well here for Keer. See what he can do. 2:16, 2:17, 2:18.1 as he crosses the line. That is not going to do it for Keer. Still holding on to his first lap time of 5:82, and that will complete laps. We can get here to Brendan Horn real quick. We haven't watched him yet, unless he might be already done as well. Like they are all pretty much done, so now we wait. So, do have, unless you there he is, Jaden Darling. We haven't covered him yet tonight. So I apologize, guys. What I'm going to do real quick, I need to turn on my trading paints. So you're going to see your stuff go on with these car paints. They're going to get white, and they're actually going to bring in the paints they're supposed to be running for tonight. Run a couple different leagues throughout the week, and some of them run trading paint. Don't, so that's why I don't yet, but I'm doing it right now as you guys go ahead and follow Jaden Darling. No, not setting personal best quite yet, but no, still got plenty of time to be able to do that. I don't know how many laps he run right now. He is done. Nope, Kerry Quintera. Hey, he does have a new paint job. I know I saw that thing a little earlier in the week in one of our Discords. Kerry is a, well, part of the SOG old guys. At the moment, he's about second off of Clog and second. Almost 4/10 of a second. Been great. Again, I don't know if you guys remember from last week, there was a bit of an issue, but got sorted out after the race. No harm, no foul. I think stuff like that just kind of happens. You're racing, even though this is a sim, is still racing. That goes on as Kerry Quintera does set the fastest time, about 1/100th of a second faster than Jake Ham. They're in second place. So we do have our battle still on from last week. Let me get, if guys have, yeah, they have. There has been. Bill Baker said, yeah, it does. Makes me want to re-up my subscription. Bill, if you want to, my man, I know Cross Touring Cup is looking for drivers in both classes. You can see right now they've only got about 18 drivers. They definitely want more than that. They want class. So, if you guys are interested, come on in. I will get you, or I can send Discord information into the qualifying has finished. And you're good, I should So in first place, we got Kerry Cantera. Second's going to be Jake Ham. Those guys are only about 1/100th of a second off of each other. Josh Clogg back there still only sitting about 7/100ths back. Bobby Ross, 4th place. Jaden Darling, 5th. Tyler Coates, 6th. And Jimmy Howitt rounds out your GE3 field. For the TCRs, we have Eduardo Pecorini there in first place, no surprise, with Robert Schwenkler almost a second off the back of him. Brennan Horn in 3rd, Chad Seep in 4th, James Keer 5th. Kevin Irwin rounds out your 4 to 6 R battle. So I am getting a little bit here from Brennan Horn saying my mic's cutting out a little bit. I'll try to see. But as of right now, guys, this is your grid. See if we can get down here into the race. It looks like they may have a full pace lap here. Don't know for sure, though. Buddy. Select it. There they are. So this is going to be a shorter pace lap. Thank goodness, because this would be a heck of a long pace lap if they did. So right now, looking like we're waiting on Jimmy Howitt and Jake Ham to grid up, and then we're going to go green. Jake has gridded, waiting on one more, and that is Jimmy Howitt to take the grid. Come on, Jimmy. No, you can do it, buddy. You always have to wait on Jimmy, guys. Always. It's constant with Jimmy. You've got Spooky Main in here saying Kerry is an alien. I mean, at it right now, he's pretty quick, but Jake Ham isn't that far off the back of him. Again, about 7/100th of a second was what, or 1/100th of a second is what separated those two after qualifying. Jake Ham flashing his lights, getting ready to go. Kerry Cantera with the always awesome profile picture. I know we've talked about that before, but go ahead and stick on here with Kerry because that is just an amazing profile picture. As again, part of the slow old guys racing. Pretty awesome. Paul Mikolajczyk goes, Will Brennan text and drive tonight. Jake Ham rooting himself on in the chat. Let's go, Ham. So, yeah, we got people already texting and driving. All right, they're going to let the pace car go here. It's going to be Jake and Kerry leading them off from the start-finish line. See what they can do here. Looks like Kerry's going to hold him back. It looks like he's actually probably going to go on green here. Still waiting, still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. Kerry hits the gas now. Jake Ham tries to follow him up. Doesn't look like he gets the best start there on the left side with Josh Clogg. Looking like he's already going to get beside Jake for that second position. They are side by side going into turn 1. See if Josh can make that move. He can. Now we're going to get back here to the TCRs. Look at these guys started way far back. I think they learned their lesson from Sebring. Robert Schwenkler. Where did Pecorini go? Pecorini is on the outside. Rob's going to get that move done, it looks like, and Brennan's going to try to send it up the inside as well, try to get 2 moves done on Pecorini. It's not over quite yet, though. Pecorini going to hang back there and try to stay beside Rob. Isn't able to get it done. But at the moment, Robert Schwenkler there in first with Pecorini in second, and Chad Seep, it's showing there in third place. Looks like Chad's going to try to get around the left side of Pecorini. Not able to let it happen. Again, I apologize. That was Chad the whole time and not Brennan. They kind of have the same paint jobs, white and blue instead of white and black. But Pecorini is now on the left side of Robert Schwenkler for the class lead here. He crosses him over. Rob throws a hell of a block. Apologize, guys. A heck of a block. And is able to hold on to that position going through the hairpin. Turn 10 and 11. We're going to go ahead and go back up here to the battle up front. Actually, there isn't one, so we're going to stay on this one for right now. Pecorini, Schwenkler, Seep, and Horan are all within 4/10 of each other. Horan has caught the back of this pack again. Pecorini's going to get a slipstream here, but if Seep can stay close enough, he's going to get an even better one because he's got 2 cars instead of 1 in front of him. But it looks like Pecorini, I'm going to be impressed if he does try to make a move after turn 14. They are coming through 13 and 14 right now, and this is where the slipstream is really going to start to take effect going into 130R for turn 15. So, at the moment, Pecorini right on the back of Schwenkler. If Pecorini decides to go for a move into 130R, I'd be extremely impressed. We can actually go here, try to get to the cockpit view to show you. It looks like Pecorini is going to go for it. Looks like Pecorini's done it even. Unbelievable move by Eduardo Pecorini. Chad Seep. Uh-oh. Well, boys, we do have Chad Seep. Oh, no, Schwenkler. James Keer all going around in that incident. We're going to have to take a look back at that to see what exactly happened there. So we do have Pecorini going through here. We are on board with Schwenkler. Chad Seep. Oh, boy. And then Rob tries to hold on to it. Bounces back off the track. Great avoidance there by Kevin Irwin in the back of the field. I'm going to leave that one up to the stewards at the end of the race. That is unfortunate for those guys, as you can see. Looks like Chad Seep has still moving on. Jake Ham right now up here in the front. Quite a long ways ahead, about a second off of Josh Clogg, but we do have Bobby Ross closing in on Clogg there for that second position. Right now you can see the intervals in the TCRs have spread out after that incident. That is exactly what Eduardo Pecorini needed to be able to get out and take control of this race. We are about 3 minutes this out of a 45-minute race. You can see lap times up there. They will improve even more as Jake Ham catches the curb. Clogg and Ross are both able to get around him. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to go back and watch that one again as well. So we can try to see here what exactly happens to Ham. He comes through turn 13. Just catches that curb between 13 and 14 and loses it. Does he try to get back out in front of Kerry Cantera, and is he able to? Looks like Jake Ham is trying to re-enter the track. This is, again, they've had some issues before, and I bet you this is a heck of a battle up here if we go back live. We do have Jake Ham and Kerry Cantera right now, and Jake Ham has lost out to Kerry, so Kerry is now in that third position. So, unfortunate by Jake Ham, still plenty of time to make plenty of time back, if you see what I did there. But, at the moment, we have Eduardo Pecorini in first place for the TCRs with Brendan Horn there in second. Kevin Irwin. Kevin Irwin right now in third place. Keep it going, Kevin. I believe in you, buddy, with Chad Seep starting to chase Kevin back down again, coming in through the chicane for the final laps, or for the final corners of the lap. See if we'll go ahead and hang on here with Chad Seep. You can see the interval up at the top as well. Closing, Bobby Ross about 0.3 of a second off of Clogg, but this is a little closer as Irwin decides to go a little bit defensive, maybe trying to break a little bit of slipstream. Is Chad going to try to drop down to the right side here? Takes a bit of a different line than Kevin, but Kevin's able to hold on with it. So, right now, looking at YouTube chat. I'm not going to repeat anything that Paul said because that is not my decision to make. That is Paul's decision to make as he's an admin in this league. So, Mr. Mikolajczyk, why don't you go ahead and take that up with the league owner and let me know how that goes for you. But anyways, following back on board here, we are still right now with Chad Seep and Kevin Irwin going through turn. Goodness, I lost track of where we are here, guys. Oh, yeah, looks like they're about to come through Degner here. Going into turn 9 and underneath the bridge where it crosses around. Kevin just takes a little bit too much curb, but Chad did the same thing through there. Looks like Chad's going to try to get a run on the outside going into the hairpin. It looks like he's going to be able to get it done. Kevin does hit the brakes, lets Chad go. I think Kevin knew that that was not his battle. So, Chad Seep moves up in front of Kevin Irwin. Back here at the front, Josh Clogg has taken a little bit of time. Just kidding. Bobby Ross is right on the back of Josh Clogg for that first position overall, as well as first in class. Down here to Eduardo Pecorini, 6 seconds already ahead of second place of Brennan Horn, but Brennan was able to make a good recovery drive from where he started back up there in place right now at the moment. And we do have a battle here with Jimmy Howitt. Did have a battle with Jimmy Howitt. Don't quite know what went on with the timing there, but here's this as if Jimmy made a mistake somewhere. He did. Let's see exactly what happened. Jimmy to get that far off. On an off track. So this is through turn 14. Second part of Spoon, I bet you he just takes it wide here. He does, and he gets way off track. How far off track does he go? Because he is moving towards that right side wall at the moment. Able to hold on to that at least. So, Jimmy still holding on to his position on time. I'm going back live now. See where everybody is. Jimmy still in 6th place ahead of Tyler, but about 3 seconds off the pace. Jaden Darling at the moment, and a little bit of time as we speak. Jaden Darling is 11 seconds behind Jake Ham, who's about a second behind Gary, about 5 seconds behind Bobby Ross, and this battle is still raging at the front of the field, and it looks like Tyler Coates is starting to close in on Howard as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Actually, it looks like he's closing in pretty quickly here. Tyler catching the slipstream. I have not mentioned Jimmy's paint. That is impressive as Jimmy decides to hit the brakes, actually hit the brakes through 130R, and that really gets Tyler right on the back bumper. And Jimmy, see what Tyler can do in that Mercedes coming down the front straight here. See that Mercedes power is able to do anything, a little bit of anything. It looks like Tyler may have a little bit of damage though on the right front of that car, but I don't think he does. I think it may be the way that car is designed. We're about to see Tyler still trying to get on to the back of Jimmy. Nothing happening there yet. Back up here at the front, we do have Josh Clogg and Bobby Ross. Bobby has slowly closed in that gap. I am going to mute myself for 1 second, guys, and take a drink. My throat is getting really dry. Okay, guys, I'm back. I apologize about that. But we do have Josh Clogg and Bobby Ross, closest battle on the track right now, and this is for first place overall. Looking here at the chat, I do argument about what's going on, and yeah, I do now know that the interview. Anyways, got Paul and Spook out. So, all right, keep it going, guys. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys want to get in on that argument. But right now, we do have still Josh Clogg and Bobby Ross fighting for the lead here. About 10 minutes, 5-minute race. Not much going for Bobby right now. Maybe kind of biding his time at the moment. Looks like Bobby was able to close in on Clogg quite a bit. Just don't know if Bobby's going to be able to get past him, because Clogg seems to be just a little bit quicker out as Bobby takes very early stop. Actually, not. I believe these guys are running pretty low fuel, so I know the TCR is going to have to stop at least once. The GT3 actually stop. Man, if you're looking at Bobby's calculate, that's going to be his first of 4 stops as Bobby comes in minute mark. So we'll kind of see how this works out. Maybe Bobby will have to take one more stop because he decided to make that early pit. Hopefully he doesn't take tires. He is out right now. He does come out, it looks like, in front of Tyler Coates. Maybe Tyler trying to drive around the outside of him here. Doesn't look like he's going to quite get there. So Bobby Ross there in 5th place overall, as well as 5th place in class. Jimmy Howitt sitting in the pits. What happened to Jimmy? Looks like he jumped into the pits. Actually went off track. Take a bit of a look here and see what happened. Jimmy? Well, that's what happened to Jimmy. So, again, unfortunate for Jimmy, but still able to keep it going. Like, not really, because he's back into the pits. Yeah, I see it cutting out. I think it may be because I'm clipping a little bit, guys. I went through some mic settings here and tried to get the mic settings correct for a single-person broadcast tonight, and it looks like I may be clipping a little bit, so I may actually have to turn it down just a little bit. We'll take a look at that here in 1 second. After we get back in through these pit stops, as it looks like we do have Jimmy still sitting in the pits. Josh Clogg right now, right behind Rob Schwenkler. Like Josh is going to go for one more lap even, so Bobby did decide to take a very early stop as Josh drives around the outside of Schwenkler. First car he lapped so far. Schwenkler back there in 11th. Again, remember, he did have that incident in 130R. Go ahead and hang on here with Clog for just a minute, guys, and see if I can get these mic issues figured out. All right, we'll go ahead and take a look at that to see if that does anything. It looks like it may be just a little better if I get quieter. Yeah, it's going to cut out a little bit if I get quieter. So let me change it just a little more here, guys. I apologize for this. All right, check, check, check. 1, 2. Okay, we're going to go ahead and see if this works out just a little better. So, at the moment, and I'm going to have to turn myself down now. Well, 1 second. All right, we'll see if this works out just a little better for everybody. Hopefully it does. So we are back on board here with Josh Clog. We do have Kerry Cantera and Jake Ham starting to battle here. And again, you guys have to remember that this was a bit of an issue last race. And Jake, they may have squashed their issues now, but we're about to find out as Jake Ham back there in third wants that position from Kerry Cantera in second overall. If you guys want to look to the left side of your screen, you can see the TCRs are extremely spaced out at this point. This really is the only battle we have on track right now. Bobby Ross has come into the pits again super early as these two get around the 7 car of Kevin Irwin. Oh my goodness, Jake Ham cut that extremely close. So, anyways, all good. No harm, no foul. Jake Ham still right on the back of Kerry. If Jake can make a little bit of time through these S turns and up into the Dunlop curve of turn 7, but it's going to be tough. It looks like Kerry's actually starting to make a little bit of progress on him. You can definitely tell that these guys are quicker in different parts of the track, even though they are in the same car, and Jake has now closed that gap all of a sudden down to 0.5 of a second. If he can get close enough, especially out of the hairpin, you do have that whole straightaway up into turn 13 and 14 of Spoon. Then you've got a super long straightaway up into 130R. So we'll see if Kerry can or Jake can kind of close this gap just enough to be able to get around him. It would be a heck of a move into 130R. He can also wait until he gets to the Casio Triangle is what that corner is called, or the chain of. So we'll see here. So they are about to come up here through Spoon. Bobby Ross is starting to close on Jaden Darling as well. I have a feeling that gap's going to close a lot quicker than this one will, but it looks like actually maybe Bobby has just made a mistake. No, he is not. He's actually gained time back, and if you guys want to let me know in the stream how my microphone is doing now, if it's doing a little better, a little worse, it's not different at all, just go ahead and please let me know, guys. But right now, we are still on board here with Jake Ham. We got Jake Ham, Kerry Cantera's right in front of him. Ooh, Jake gets just a little bit loose coming out of 130R. Going to have to hold on through these chicanes known as, again, Casio. But going to have to hold on for one more lap. I think Jake may just be riding behind and biding his time. But right now, we have seen now an overtake on Jaden Darling by Bobby Ross. We'll see if Jaden can do anything to fight back. Bobby already pulling the gap out just a little bit, about 0.7 of a second now. We'll go ahead and see exactly what happened here with Bobby and Jaden and the pass. Like Jaden gets pretty wide. Don't know if that was intentional or if Jaden did just get wide there through turn 14, but nonetheless, Bobby was able to make that move, and Bobby has found himself back up into 4th place. Keep in mind, Bobby did pit extremely early, so when these guys do come in, going to be super interesting to see how these guys are able to, where they're all going to jockey for position. I can pull up the pit strategy right now, and you can see that Bobby Ross is the only person that has pitted for those GT3s. And you can go back here down to the TRs maybe and see if we can see the pit strategy for those guys down there. It doesn't look like we can. So right now, again, you guys are seeing that the pit strategy for Bobby Ross is way off compared to everybody else here in the field. Went in with about 10 minutes, and all these guys are running to 20. Oh, hopefully Bobby's done his practice and done his homework, and he can make this on one stop, because at this moment, these guys can run for another about 7-8 minutes. They're going to be able to get this thing through on one stop, while Bobby's going to have to stop again. Definitely going to have to stop again. So we're going to go ahead and see how all of that works out, but that's neither here nor there at this moment. I apologize for the dog. My fiance just got home. So right now we are riding on board still with Bobby Ross. See what his lap times are right now. Did just run a 2:13.93. That was his last lap. So right now his best lap, Bobby Ross's, is 2:01.3, while Josh Clogg up there, I apologize, Bobby Ross's last lap was a 2:01.3, and Josh Clogg's was a 1:59.3. So Bobby has not gained on the leader. He actually really hasn't gained on these guys, second or third right now. So you can see Kerry Cantera has just come into the pits, though, and forfeited that third position to Bobby Ross, back up there into third. Jake Ham about 8 seconds off the back of Josh Clogg now. That definitely got rid of that battle. So we're going to have to see if Kerry comes out in front or behind Jake when Jake does have to pit. I don't know if that was just a late decision on Kerry or not. If Jake didn't follow him in, maybe he thinks a little bit of clear track position right now is going to give him the time he needs to get out in front of Kerry as he comes in for his fuel stop. But that we are about to find that out. Right now, Jake at backstretch 14, about to come up into, not about to come up into one, about to go onto the backstretch. Turn 14 right now. He does have a car in front of him that looks like Eduardo Pecorini. See how Eduardo's doing. We really haven't talked about him that much. Again, we really haven't talked about any of these TCR guys that much, because see that gaps just are extremely spread out right now. That incident with Rob and Chad Seep at the beginning of the race had caused a lot of these cars. It's caused James Keer to back out of the race, and Jimmy Howitt has not backed out. He's just sitting in the pits. But Jake Ham has come into the pits. You can see Jake there. Let's see where Kerry is. He's coming around turn... Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Coming around turn 14 right now. About to come up into 130R. We'll see where he comes out. Jake is still sitting in the pits. And this is going to have to be a really long stop for Jake to have to, and it looks like Kerry, we can kind of see him. There he is, coming through the chicane. See where Jake is just now exiting the pits. This might actually be a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Here comes Kerry down the front stretch with Jake exiting the pits. Looks like Jake's going to be able to get the move done. He does. Into turn 1 goes Jake Ham with Kerry Cantera quite a ways back. So that was great pit strategy by Jake Ham. Gets himself about 3 seconds of a gap on Kerry for that third place. Following on board here, we really haven't talked about Tyler Coates that much. And we do have Jaden Darling here coming out of the pits as well. See where Tyler is at the moment. Looks like he's about to come to turn 13. Still behind Jaden Darling by quite a long ways, actually. That is showing that he's about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, I really hope that's not right. But look at this. It looks like it is, because Jaden Darling's come out of the pits, is now going through the S's, and Tyler Coates hasn't even gotten close to 130R yet. So, Yes, it does appear that Tyler Coates is actually 1 minute. And back up here at the front of the field, Bobby Ross continues to play that early pit stop. Definitely done him well. Question is going to be, is Bobby going to have to pit more than twice? Because right now, Josh Clogg is 4 seconds behind. See those lap times there. Josh Clogg with the 159.932. Bobby's best is a 766. So, looking at those, Josh is just a little bit faster, but that means nothing when it comes to how these guys are doing lap after lap after lap. So we're going to see Bobby Ross's lap time pop out here on the top left-hand side of the screen. Bobby comes across the line now. Minute .824. Let's see what Josh does. A 32.853. That is not representative either because Josh was that lap. So this is when the battle really starts. Looking here with Kerry Cantera about off of Jake Ham. What happened there? Oh, wait, that's right. Get him in the pits, and Jake has held on to that. Now about 2 seconds. Go back here and see how Jake and Kerry are doing at the moment. You can tell that Kerry can see Jake up there. Just not quite close enough. Not even anywhere near close enough at the moment. So right now we do have Jake Ham there in 3rd place. 4th place is Kerry Cantera. 5th is Jaden Darling, and this is overall. 6th overall is Eduardo Pecorini, 1st in class. Brendan Horn 2nd. Rob Schwenk 3rd with Chad Seep in 4th. Looks like he's come into the pits for his first stop. So these guys are stopping around about the same time. You can see Tyler Coates in the pit. Last in the section. Kevin Irwin back here in 10th overall, 5th in class. Tyler Coates, obviously, pits. Those are the guys we have running. Jimmy Howitt and James Keer. James out of the race. Jimmy Howitt still sitting in. Fortunately, he just tends to not race these cars, which is unfortunate. Makes one mistake and decides to give up and pits. But that's neither here nor there. Again, all right, Jimmy, don't give me more to commentate on. That's fine. Jaden Darling up here. We're going to go ahead and follow back on in, and we have 4-second gap between him. Right now is 3rd overall. Been a great recovery drive for Rob to get back up there in that 3rd position. I apologize, guys. I'm going to try to fix my mic being on the stream. So give me 1 second here. All right, we're going to go ahead and try this again to see how that goes. Let me know if it's any better or any worse. I have definitely turned my noise gate way down, so hopefully it does get a little better for you guys. It looks like it is if I'm looking at it from my OBS stream. So hopefully it does get a little better for you guys. Anyways, back here on the track, we've got Rob Schwenkler up here in 3rd place, 18 seconds behind 2nd of Horn, and Eduardo Pecorini pulled far and away from the pack, about 35 seconds ahead of. So, in a moment, we'll look to see medals here on track. Tyler Coates still sitting in the pits. It looks like Tyler done as well. No, his car's lifted up. I'll have to see exactly what's going on here with Tyler. Tyler has dropped back down onto the ground. I really do hope that Tyler actually doesn't back out again. So see Jimmy and Tyler sitting there in the pits, and we are losing people kind of left and right at the moment. We have Tyler Coates out of this. out. And 8-ish minutes go. So this is a pretty long race, guys. I apologize. I had a feeling, which is what I wanted to talk about a little bit. I'll go ahead and talk about it now. I had a feeling this was going to be a pretty spread out race for the most part. I am not a huge fan of Suzuka. I'm sure, as you guys can tell in my tone of voice, we don't like driving this track that much. I don't think it's that fun of a track. And if you, as you can probably tell by the environments, I don't think those either. So this is going to be more of a spread out race. It's a super skinny track. You can see those S-turns. I'll pull up the track map for you guys here real quick and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you've got this track map, and you can see those S-turns after the start-finish. Just tends to spread these guys out. There are some big straightaways here, but there's not enough for these guys to be able to get close enough to make any overtaking opportunities. So this track lends itself to good driving. It really does. So these drivers that you see, Bobby Ross, 4 seconds ahead of Clog, and Clog about 8 seconds ahead of Jake Ham. This lends itself to good driving. A good skill will win you the race here. The racing won't be as close as you would see in other tracks just because this track is not designed for that, which is why I'm not a huge fan of it. But that's not saying that these guys aren't, so I'm going to stop my soapbox now about Suzuka and stay on board here, or stay with Bobby Ross. Still about 4 seconds ahead of Clog, coming into the final corners of 16, 17, and 18, known as the Casio Triangle, and then turn 19, which is last curve, right there. So, very original name for track corner namers. There is such a thing. Josh Clog back there in the background, about really losing time now. Josh ran a 2.740 that last lap. Actually, those two ran identical lap times on that last lap, but Bobby's pulled about 2 or 3 tenths of a second out on this gap since the pit stops. So, have to see here exactly what Bobby's plan is. You can definitely tell he's probably running on a lighter fuel load right now, considering he came into the pits that much earlier. So that might be helping him out. But again, this is going to be super interesting to see if Bobby has got his pit stops right. Because if you guys have watched these streams before, you know that as quick of a driver as Bobby is, he tends to get his pit strat wrong every now and then. So we'll see if he gets it right this time. Coming through the hairpin. No drama at all. Great view from inside the car there. You can see Bobby coming down the straightaway. It's not even, doesn't even have a name, but comes through turn 12. About to come up here into turn 13. Then finally turn 14. And then he comes down the other straightaway. They don't have their straightaways named. Into 130R. And we'll go ahead and pull the dashboard up real quick so you can see the types of speed Bobby is taking here. And then we can pull back over to Josh Clog, see how Josh makes it through. Our Bobby takes it at about 150 miles an hour. Josh takes it miles an hour less for Josh. So that is a pretty good indicator, but Josh has gained some time back on Bobby, quite a bit. And there's what I was talking about pit stops. So this is Bobby's second stop, and he stops at the 30-minute mark. It's going to be close for Bobby to make it to the end of the race. So he got from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. That's about a 20-minute run that he was able to do. Only got 15 minutes left in the race. So, as much as I was talking crap about Bobby's pit stops, unless these guys do not have to stop again, going to be very close to see if they have to or not. Josh might go into full fuel saving mode here, knowing that he's about 10 seconds ahead of Jake Ham, and see if Bobby can catch him. Because if Josh does not go into fuel saving mode, he is definitely going to have to stop again. But right now on board with Bobby Ross, we just watched him take his pit stop. And we will go back on here with Josh Clog. Right now, you have Kerry Cantera about 4 seconds off of Jake Ham. Now, keep in mind, that these guys may have to save a little bit of gas if they don't want to stop again, because they again stopped about the 20 minute mark. Be very close. See when these guys actually going to do this. Actually, let's check here. Take a gander here. See if we can see stint length for these guys. That does just pull up. Does just pull up the amount of laps that they've done on the tires. So at the moment, there's really no way to tell. So right now, actually, we can do that here. We can pull up this pit stop trajectory. Clog made his first stop on lap 10. So did Jake Ham with Cantera on lap 9. Bobby Ross stopped on lap 5. So right now we're on lap 16, meaning that these guys really only have about 3 more laps as Josh Clog crosses the start-finish line. Only have about 3 more laps, judging by their pit stop strategy, if they're going to make it. It's not looking like they're going to, because let's say a 2-minute lap time. They're on lap 17 right now. About 6 minutes. That's going to get them to the 40-minute mark, but I don't think it's going to get them to the 45. So right now, it looks like Jake may be saving some serious fuel right now, as we do have an off track by Kevin Irwin. See exactly what happened to Kevin as he comes turn 13 of Spoon. I apologize for that hill being in the way. Coming into the hairpin now, and that was 130R. That was not Spoon, and I bet you that's exactly what happened. Was 130R, just gets a little bit wide coming through there. Holds on to it, though, and we do have an off track by Chad Seep as well. Right now, Chad Seep is still in second place, though. So, Ed, my goodness, he does get a bit of an off track there. It looks like that's through that S section, that final, not even the final corner, but just through the S's there. Go ahead and back and watch that one more time if we can. Yep, through the S's. Chad just gets a little bit wide on the right-hander there. No harm, no foul. And Brendan Horn also another off track. Oh, he does. He takes out some cones, guys. If anybody's still watching, he did take out some cones there and decides just to send it right into the pits. That's one way to do it, I guess. But going back live now, exactly where Josh is. Still about 13 seconds ahead. I wonder if Josh has decided to totally abandon the strategy of fuel saving and just go all out, full send. His last lap right now is a 159.88. We'll see what happens with Jake and Kerry and Bobby as they cross the line, as Jake does come into the pits. So this is about to get really interesting here. Jake Ham into the pits. Kerry Cantera also into the pits. Bobby Ross coming through the final chicane right now. So Bobby is going to overtake these two. Be close for Bobby to see if he's going to be able to make the stop or make it, but I think he is. Bobby gets past Jake and Kerry up back into second place in the GT3 class in about 31 seconds here off of Josh Clog. So we'll see. We can see right now that the time in the pits for Jake Ham, I know you guys can't see it on screen, but I can, and it was 29.6 seconds for Jake in the pits, and it was 33.7 seconds for Kerry in the pits. With that being said, this might get extremely close here at the end as Josh is trying to throw in some crazy laps to see if he's going to be able to get in and back out. Still in front of Bobby, but it's going to be a pretty tough ask at the moment. But I would assume Josh is going to definitely have to come back into the pits sometime soon. You would think. You can see we can go back on here with Josh. Going to keep this pit stop thing up just a little longer. You guys can kind of see the laps that they're on. Again, Clog did run 10 laps. That last run, he's now 32 seconds ahead. He needs about 33 to definitely be safe on Bobby Ross. He's going to go around one more time. I think Josh knows that. I think Josh knows he has to get out in front of Bobby, which is about 33 seconds. Jerry said Brennan takes out more cones. He owns more cones. Brennan, you're going to have to stop at the end of every one of these races that we go to, that you guys go to, and help these track workers pick up all these cones that you've decided to scatter across half of Japan. So, you may not be doing too great in the race. You're in 4th place right now, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to, you don't get the podium. You might as well just park the car and go out there and help those track workers. But at the moment, Josh Clogg, 32.3 seconds ahead. See if he can pull this gap out on Bobby. This is actually, we're going to stay on this because even though this doesn't look very close, guys, Josh is going to have to come back into the pits one more time, and that's where we're going to see if Bobby's able to make this pit strategy work that he was on. He was quite a ways ahead of Josh when he pitted the first time, but looking at these pit times, it seems as if these guys, it's going to be close. That's all I'm going to say. I do have the pit time delta up now, so we'll see exactly how long Josh sits stationary whenever he does decide to come in. Bill Baker says, yes, he got the cones. 10 extra points per cone. There you go, Bobby. You've gained at least 20 points just in taking out cones. Go ahead and talk to Rob after the race and make sure those points get tallied up for you correctly. But right now, still on here with Josh Clogg. We're going to see if he comes into the pits. This is when it's going to start getting pretty interesting here. See what happens. Josh decides to stay out one more time, gets a little bit of a slipstream from Eduardo Pecorini, but that is not the line that he wanted to take through there. Maybe wanted to stay just a little bit closer to the right side of the track, but he's gotten enough time. He's 33 seconds ahead of Bobby Ross now, so this is going to get really close. It looks like Josh may have just been trying to keep a little bit in the bag and see what he can do when it comes to this pit stop. Josh is definitely going full out attack mode at the moment. 33.2 seconds. His last lap was a 1:59.6 and Bobby's was a 2:04. That is almost a full second faster than Bobby was. So this is going to be extremely interesting. Again, I know I keep saying it, but we are going to keep an eye on Josh Clogg and when he decides to pit. I apologize, guys. I did have to take another bit of a break. I did not realize that talking for 45 minutes straight took this much out of you, so I had to take just a little bit of a break and get water, but I'm back now, and you can see Josh Clogg has pulled this gap out even more, about to be about 34 seconds. Looks like Josh may have this. Again, Carey's time in pits, it was showing 33.7. So unless Josh absolutely botches this pit stop, he should come back out in front of Bobby. And then as a race to the end, Bobby will, Josh and Bobby, as Josh decides to come in now, gets it slowed down. You can see right now, as you see the timer down there on the bottom left, we're going to see exactly how long this takes Josh to get into and out of the pits. So that timer started on pit entry. It will stop on pit exit when he crosses that pit exit line, as Tyler Coates and Jimmy Howitt are still sitting there in the pits. Fortunately them. But here we go. Josh Clogg, 30, 31, 32. Looking where Bobby Ross is. This is going to be not close at all. Josh Clogg has definitely gotten this move done, and now Bobby is going to have to do something pretty heroic to catch Josh. He is about 7-ish seconds behind. Josh Clogg, I would assume, has this in the bag. We've got about 3 minutes left of racing. Haven't really gone through the TCR standings here, Pecorini at the moment is about, well, 1 lap down, but 55 seconds. Let me say that again. 55 seconds ahead of second place in class, Chad Seep, with Robert Schwenkler about 4 seconds back at the moment. And Brennan Horn, as we saw him take out quite a few cones and other things, cut a little bit of grass, get around Jaden Darling there. Did I just see a TCR overtake a GT3? We did, and this is why. See Jaden here coming through. Oh! Yep, that would be what happened to Jaden. Comes through turn 14 through Spoon, tags that wall, and catches quite a bit of damage. It's looking like Brennan gets around him. But anyways, back to what I was talking about before. That is Brennan Horn there in 4th place in class with Kevin Irwin in 5th. And we've got the sorry suckers of Tyler Coates, Jimmy Howitt, and James Keer out of the race. But that doesn't matter right now. We're going to get back up here on Josh Clogg and see how he's doing. With that interval between him and Bobby has now grown to about 8 seconds. Almost 9. So it looks like Josh is going to be able to come away with a very easy victory here. I had a feeling this track wasn't going to be the greatest when it came to overtaking, and I think I can now confidently say that I was correct in my thoughts. So Josh Clogg about 9 seconds ahead of Bobby Ross, who is about 8 seconds ahead of Jake Ham, who is 59 seconds ahead of Jaden Darling, with Kerry Cantera out of the race. Eduardo Pecorini back there in 1st place again, 57 seconds ahead of Chad Seep in 2nd, with Robert Schwenkler in 3rd, Brennan Horn in 4th, and Kevin Irwin rounding out your top 5. But this is a good thing for Rob, even though Pecorini has, unless he makes some massive mistakes, even though Pecorini has won the last 2 races in a row, Rob has finished ahead of Brennan, and that was what he's wanting to do. So he's going to be able to close that points gap by about 1 point, which, if you guys didn't know, the scoring system in this is a bit different. So I'm going to get this wrong, but I believe 10th through 20th is all scored by 1 point. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So that's why these guys in these TCRs, actually Pecorini is going to gain some massive points here, because we did not have that many TCRs out here in the field today. We had about 7, and 2 of those guys have finished behind the TCRs. So Pecorini's going to gain some bigger points, which means Chad Seep is going to gain some bigger points, and Rob and Brennan. So we're going to have to see how this point shakes up. I'll let you guys know next week when we come back. But the race is coming to a close. Josh Clogg just missed him, crossed the finish line in 1st place. Bobby Ross takes 2nd place. Definitely missed the pit strat just a little bit. Decided to try to come in for that early pit. We'll have to talk to him and see what happened with there. Jake Ham does cross the line in 3rd. Great job by Jake. Just did have the outright pace on Kerry at the beginning. Jaden Darling is going to come home 4th eventually whenever he does. But Eduardo Pecorini takes a checkered flag for the TCRs in 1st, with Chad Seep about kind of going to come home 2nd. We can see here the number 73 is going to take his way around 130R here. He is, and get there into the chicane. And Rob Schwenkler back there in 3rd, going to follow him up, with Brennan Horn going to come home 5th, and Kevin Irwin out of the race. Not out of the race, has finished the race, come 6th. James Keer in the TCR did not finish the race, as did Jimmy Howitt did the same thing. But Rob Schwenkler, your 2nd place, and Brennan Horn, Rob Schwenkler, your 3rd, and Brennan Horn comes home 4th, and that will be your results for this evening, whenever Brendan decides to cross the line, I will get these points pulled up for you. And there he is. As he decides to flash his lights just a little bit, show a little bit appreciation for the stream for me, Brendan. Disco man over there. So we'll see if we can get these results up for you now. It's not looking like it quite yet. Hey, there they are. So in first place, we do have Josh Clogg finishing 10 seconds ahead of second place, Bobby Ross in third. Rounding out the podiums for the GT3s is Jake Ham, fourth, Jaden Darling, fifth, Kerry Cantera, sixth overall, and first in class in the TCRs is Eduardo Pecorini. Chad Seep comes home second, but seventh overall. Rob Schwankler, eighth, third overall. Brendan comes home ninth. Kevin Irwin, 10th. Tyler Coates, 11th. Jimmy Howitt, 12th. And James Keer, 13th. Those were your three retirements for the night. So at the moment, it looks like we do have everybody already here in interview waiting. So we'll go ahead and get some people in here. And all right, it looks like we do have Josh Clogg here, our first place finisher overall. Going to drag him in here into the main booth if I can get my mouse to work right. And there he is, Josh Clogg. Welcome in. Kind of wondering how that pit stop was going to go between you and Bobby there, but it looked like you were able to get... just weird Bobby came in so early. Kind of walk me through the race.
Yeah, awesome race, first off. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I figured Bobby wanted to get the short pit stop out of the way first, so then he'd have a full tank on the second pit stop, where I did the opposite of doing the full tank first and then the short pit stop. I tried to time it with the TCR traffic as best as I could, and seemed to work out.
Yeah, it looks like it did. You finished pretty comfortable 10 seconds ahead there of second place of Bobby Ross. Were there any moments where you thought that maybe Bobby had got it right?
I mean, yeah, there's always the chance that in the back of your head, but I figured I would just, run it as long as I could and see how it went, because I knew I had the pace and clean air, so I just wanted to try and take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, congratulations there on your first place in the GT3 class in the Porsche, which you say you're not a big fan of, but it looks like you did okay tonight. Anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out before I let you go?
Oh yeah, all the fiercely forward crew. Everybody that put up the practice sessions and everything. It was much appreciated.
All right, awesome, man. Well, thank you very much, Josh, and we hope to talk to you next week.
Yep, have a good night. Thanks.
And that was Josh Clogg there, first place in the GT3s. We're going to go ahead and try to yank down Bobby Ross if we can. There he is. Bobby Ross, talk to me, my man. You pitted with 10 minutes elapsed in this session. Kind of walk me through that and kind of explain what the thought process was there.
I tried a strategy because during the practice race, I had an incident happen and I had to pit early, and I noticed it helped me in the long run. And I thought, you know what, let me try incorporating this. So, same thing as that practice race. I tried pitting on lap 5, and it gave me a 5-second gap between me and Josh Clogg. The problem was in the second stint, where I accidentally put too much fuel than I needed.
I was wondering, because it was definitely between that first and second stint that Josh gained on you a little bit, and it just looked like after that third stop of Josh's, there just wasn't much you could do.
Unfortunately, it just seemed like the tires were starting to go away from me, and I think overall, the Porsche is a better track at Suzuka than the Mercedes. So, but you know what? Another top 2 finish out of 3 races. I'll take that. I'd rather have a consistent season.
Yep, consistency is key, especially in a race that Josh wasn't able to make the last one. So you're definitely still up on points. So if you keep finishing the way you've done, the way you're doing so far, it's going to be great. And I wish I could tell you guys we're going next week. And you may know that, and if you don't, I'm going to ask you anyways, what are your thoughts on next week's track, by any chance, if you know?
Here, let me see. I'm just popping up Google. Calendar, got it. Oh, Is it messing up? Nope. It's not popping up for me either. But I don't know for the
I've
next
got
race.
you
I'm
right now.
definitely
What are your thoughts at Mid-Ohio? How do you think about that track? Are you going to be able to get that, be able to knock some first places out there?
You know what? That might be a good chance for me because me and Eduardo, we take place in another league called Risa Racing, which is named after the karting team that we're a part of. And we do a lot of races there with either Miatas, Formula 4s, and I'm very familiar with that track. So now I just got to work on pit strategy, timing it just right, making sure you got enough fuel to make it to the finish.
I get it. Well, anyways, Bobby, that was a great second place for you. You stayed consistent. Able to get it done. Amazing drive by you and Josh and Jake. But anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out before I let you go?
Oh, of course. First off, shout out to my mom and my brother who were watching in the living room, especially this late at night. And a special shout out to my friend Christine and everyone else that was watching me, all my friends and family. You guys are all amazing. And of course, thank you to Slow Motion Broadcast for broadcasting these races. I'll see you all in 2 weeks.
All right, Bobby. Well, thanks again, man. And we hope to talk to you again in 2 weeks. And before then, remember, we will have... Actually, we won't because we're off XSLR this weekend as well. But we will be racing an XSLR before that, so I will definitely talk to you then as well.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.
All right, that was Bobby Ross there in second place in the GT3s. And now we're going to go ahead and pull Jake Ham down here. After a bit of a topsy-turvy race last race, Jake was able to pull it all back together, spin and all, and come home in third. Jake, walk me through it.
Man, I tell you what, I thought I had this thing figured out. I thought I was going to get pulled, and Kerry gets by me, and then go into that one turn and accidentally shifted down to second instead of staying in third, and it looped it right around, and there it goes. And then I'm planning on my pit strategy. I completely forgot that I was going to conserve fuel while we were practicing. I was able to do it in one pit stop instead of two, and once I remembered it, it was too late, so everything went out the window.
Well, I mean, to be able to pull it at third place, obviously up here we can't hear what's going on in your head. That seems pretty impressive right now, man. Kind of talk me through. You did have some pace there at the beginning, and even without that spin, it looked like Kerry started to kick it up just enough to where it looked like you were going to be able to get to him, but then you weren't. But moving into next week, have you run Mid-Ohio? And tell me what your thoughts are there, how you think you're going to be able to do.
Haven't ran it at all, so
okay,
super excited. Yep. So we're really going to see how it plays out. I don't think I've ever stepped foot on the track, so it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm going to be leaning on my pit crew to give me some tips.
Well, absolutely, and I can tell you that I'd be leaning on mine as well, but lean right now. Anyways, Jake, thank you so much for coming and doing an interview with us, and congratulations on your third place. Anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, for sure, man. You, Slow Motion Broadcasting, Adam for hosting and representing that. Appreciate that. And all my fans out there, Bill Baker, thanks for being on the stream. And thanks to all my fans out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You did have Bill. He kept cheering you on the whole race. So that was pretty cool to see some people here in the chat, even though it was just me tonight that hung around and decided to watch it. But Jake, thank you so much for coming in here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Adam.
And that was Jake Ham, who finished third in the GT3s. And we're going to pull in first place finisher of Eduardo Pecorini in the TCRs. Eduardo, you're by yourself again tonight.
I had a good race. Too bad Robert and Chad had a little misstep on the first lap because both guys were quick tonight, so we could have a good fight. But yeah, I was cruising, fighting with my own times and trying not to mess up. On the last penultimate lap, I had a big scare. I don't know if it was broadcast, but luckily I was able to save it.
Yeah, it actually wasn't, but we're going to have to go back before we get out of here on the stream, and we'll show all the viewers exactly what happened there. But with that being said, Eduardo, kind of walk me through when you are obviously situation lent itself when Rob and Chad came together in the first lap. But when you're that far ahead, is there more or less pressure on you? Because, you know, in my thought, my head, I'm thinking, man, you're that far ahead. You can get a bit complacent, and then if you do make a mistake, normally a big one. But what would you rather be? Would you rather be up there, or would you rather be battling when it comes to your state of mind and how clean you can race and not make mistakes?
No, obviously it's better to be fighting. It's not only a more entertainment. It's more entertaining. But exactly as you said, when you are ahead and you have a gap, you tend to be distracted more easily. It's harder to keep focus on what you're doing, so you tend to make mistakes easier. So I prefer to be fighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I totally understand that, Eduardo, and we prefer you to be fighting up here in the broadcast booth as well. But before we let you go, hey man, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out to make this happen?
Yeah. First of all, to all the guys that do this amazing league, man, they do a great job in keeping everything together and putting everything together. The transmission, you guys do a beautiful job, man, and really professional. And always Risa for putting us where we are.
Absolutely, and you did have a couple guys here in chat rooting for you tonight, as well as Bobby, who I meant to shout out, I didn't, but Big H and Jerry DiPiero were both on you and Bobby's side tonight, Eduardo. So you had some fan clubs as well.
Beautiful. Thanks to those guys too.
Hey, before I let you go, any thoughts on a couple weeks from now? You're going to Mid-Ohio. How are you feeling about that track?
Yeah, Mid-Ohio is not a good track for me, so I will have to do some practice there. But I tend to get to the times quickly, so a little practice should be enough.
Absolutely. Well, better get some practice in. You've got a win streak going right now, Eduardo. You got to climb up there in the points after missing the first race. Good luck, and we hope to talk to you here in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. That was Eduardo Pecorini, first place finisher in the TCR class. I'm going to go ahead and pull the one, the only, slow old guy. Not the only one. There's another one in here. But Chad Seep, second place finisher. Congratulations, man. Walk me through the race. You know I'm going to ask about it. The incident with you and Rob there at the beginning. Other than that, though, that was a great recovery drive to get yourself back up into second. I'm sure you had a bit more interesting race than some of these other guys.
Yeah, I definitely never like to win a race with some sort of drama involved, because that was unfortunate. The Civics seemed to have the goods on those guys at the beginning, like on the cold tires, and I was all over them. And we came out of, I think it's 130R, and Robert had just been passed, so he had a little less pace. So I got a bit of a run on the outside, and during the transition, I expected him to move across to set up for the next turn, and instead it seemed like he moved closer to me. And at that speed, those cars just, there's no coming back from a contact. They just start going. And I didn't see the replay yet, so I don't know how much carnage it caused, but I saw a lot of cars sitting still after that. It was not nice.
I can tell you, Chad, that only carnage it caused, other than you, Rob, there were a few cars that had to dodge it, but James Keer. But everybody else seemed to get through there okay, so that was okay. Art, to be honest, I'm surprised we didn't. Art, that was the only one, and of course, I would say no harm, no foul, but that's right, man. But after that, you had to get back going. I would assume you had some damage. Did a pretty good job to get yourself back to a position after getting passed by some of those guys.
Yeah, he might have missed my second incident on 130R. I came in out of it, and sometimes if you get a little too much of that curb, it'll hook the car, and sure enough, I went into a passenger slide and ended up the wrong direction and trying to get back on the track, and saw my swell pal Carey there go by. I almost took him out.
Well, I definitely did miss that one. I'll sound even better for taking. Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out? I know it probably wasn't the cleanest or the best race for you, but you were able to get the second place done.
Yeah, it was nice to have a little bit of pace, and I'd like to put a shout out to my sponsors, Clammy Nuts Racing Talc. from swellpals.com. That's swellpals.com. And yeah, if you must, give them a dust. And then the SOG racing team and my GT counterpart, Kerry Cantera, he unfortunately had a disconnect right near the end of the race, so that was too bad.
Fortunately. The second best place to be. I'm just.
We got a nice storm. We got a nice storm going on.
Exactly. That's why the America's better. Anyways, we're not gonna.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
neither here nor there, Chad. But anyways, thank you
sir.
so much, man, for coming in here and joining the interview booth. And how are you feeling about Mid Ohio?
I think that'll be a fun one for these cars. Sorry, the TCRs have been a little bit, I guess, long here. Like we're just driving on these long straights. So Mid Ohio have some nice variation for these.
I'm ready for a bit of variation. I was never a big fan of this track, to be honest with you, so I'm just as ready to go there, I think, as everybody else after tonight, Chad. But thank you so much for joining the booth, and we hope to talk to you in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, thank you everyone for making this possible. All the guys that do all the hard work broadcasting, as well as Robert and the gang for getting it set up.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
That was Chad Seep, their second place finisher. And we did have a few people shout him out tonight. I'm shout him out as well. My very good friend, admin in this league, slow motion broadcasting guy, XSLR admin. He does it all. Rob, I already asked Kerry. I'm going to ask you too. Was one incident, but you were able to drive back up there for third place. But this is an interview, and I got to ask the hard question first.
Fire away.
What happened?
Yeah, going into 130R, Pecco stuck his nose inside, so I had to back off, and I lost all my drive through there. And I was honestly just trying to hold that line, and not cut back across to go with the entry into the chicane. I haven't gone back and watched it yet, so I'm not real sure what happened. All I know is I got collected and got spun around. So.
Yep, I totally understand that, but neither here nor there for me to decide. That is on. But with that being said, still a heck of a drive. I mean, you had to come back through the field, pass a couple people. You know I'm not a huge fan of this track anyways, so the racing there in parts did get a bit spread out, but walk me through getting back up there into third.
Yeah, I just tried to stay smooth and consistent, just hit my marks, put in my laps, and just kind of see where the dominoes fell. I mean, I had done some good practice yesterday and found some pace, so I knew I was going to be quick. It all kind of depended on who showed up for the race tonight. But once I saw Ashley wasn't here and I knew Jerry was going to be out, I figured like I had a good shot at a podium. So, that was before lap one. But anyway, yeah, just trying to claw my way back, man. I'm happy to get the podium for sure. Disappointed that there wasn't a few more laps because I think I could have chased Chad back down. But
you were definitely slowly but surely getting closer to the back of him, but this is still good points for you. You did finish ahead of Brennan, your closest rival. And with these guys, not all of the GT3 drivers finish ahead of you. The way it is, I think you actually may have gained a couple more than he needed. I don't know what it goes, but it's going to be really close between you and Brennan. With that being said, man, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out for making this happen? And what are your thoughts on Mid-Ohio?
I'm looking forward to Mid-Ohio. It's a fun track. I don't have a ton of experience there, but especially in this car. But we got 2 weeks, so plenty of time to get the laps in. Big shout out to Slow Motion Broadcasting. All the work you guys do, you guys are killing it. Shout out to the admins in the league, James Keer, Paul Mikolajczyk. Those guys are a huge help. Shout out to my girlfriend for letting me play video games. And yeah, well, I think that's about it.
It sounds like it. Rob, thank you so much, man. And we hope to talk to you.
All right, man. Take care.
That was Robert Schwenkler there in third place. I almost put. But anyways, well, interesting race. We did have a bit of contact. Really the only big one, I think, the contact between Robert Schwenkler. But other than that, we saw a few spins. You can see how tight this track is. Takes a whole lot of concentration. Got through this one. We're on to Mid-Ohio next. And from myself, Adam Thompson, and broadcasting, this was Cross Touring Round 3 at Suzuka. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. Ohio, have a good night.